Welcome back again to our mathematical series on fraction. So we have begun fraction, we have introduced fraction in the previous videos. We've talked about equivalent fractions, we've talked about components of fraction. You can check our page to see the previous videos on fraction and subscribe to our YouTube channel to get notified anytime we drop new content. So subscription is free. It doesn't mean you are paying anything. You are not paying anything for subscription. It will just help you to see our videos more and more anytime we drop it. Now, this video we are going to consider reducing fractions to their simplest form or reducing fraction to their lowest term. Don't let them use English to confuse you. At times they call it simplest form or they call it lowest term. So reducing fraction to their lowest term is the same as reducing fraction to their simplest form. Now, what do we mean by this? So, if you remember from the concept of equivalent fraction, I explained that we can apply equivalent fraction to learn how to reduce fraction to their lowest term. So we can have a particular fraction like this, which is 200 over 500. See what we have here, 200 over 500, or let me just say 200 over 550. So if this is what we have, we can reduce this fraction by dividing the top and bottom by the same number. You continue to divide till you can no longer divide. So that is how to reduce fraction to their lowest term. So how do we do this? You don't need to start, you may not even start with something big. You can start with something small. So, however, I can start with 10. 10 divided by 10. So 0 will just cancel out. 0 will cancel out. So I'll be left with 20 over 55. So you don't need to think of something big. So, but if you can do it directly, no problem. But as a young student, you may choose something small first. In fact, you can even start with something as small as 2, because 2 can divide both. You can start as small. So, but I want us to go to get the answer faster. That's why I'm doing this. Now, this is not still the simplest form because a number can still divide both of them. So, what number? 5 can actually divide 20 and 55. So if I divide it by 5, you have to divide it by 5 as well. So 20 divided by 5, that will give me 4. And 55 divided by 5, that will give me 11. Now, look at this result that we have now, 4 over 11. Do we still have anything that can divide both of them? Apart from 1. When you get to that point where it is only 1 that can divide, stop. That will be your final answer. So it is only 1 that can divide both. And 1, you don't need to use 1. 1 is not allowed because you keep getting the same result. So if you use 1. So this is how to reduce fraction to their simplest form. So let me treat one more example on that. Then we say bye-bye to this class. So for example, if I have 64 divided by 128. So 64 divided by 128. So how do we reduce this to the simplest form? So this number is not, you have to just use your brain. So you don't need to choose something big. So as a beginner, you may still be struggling with the number to use. So in short, you can start with something simple. Any number that ends with even number, just know that 2 can divide. So 2 will work for both of them because this ends with even, this is also ending with even. So let's divide this by 2 and divide this by 2. So if you divide 64 by 2, divide 6 by 2, you have 3. Divide 4 by 2, you have 2. So that's 32 over. Divide 12 by 2, you are going to have what? You have 6. Divide 8 by 2, you are going to have 4. So you can see the number is now reduced to an extent. I can still go again. 2 can still work. Divide this by 2. Divide this by 2. However, if you know something big that you can do, that you can use, I know 64 can work for both, but as a beginner, we have to do it simple, in a simple way. Now, 32 divided by 2, that'll give me 16. 64 divided by 2, that'll give me 32. Let's go one more time. So 2 can still go again. 2 in 16, that will give me 8. 2 in 32, that will give me 16. So at this point, of course, you know that 8 can divide both. 8 in 8 and 8 in 16. 8 in 8, that will give me 1. 8 in 16, that will give me 2. So now, at this point, there is no number that can divide apart from 1. So this is our final answer. So that means the simplest form of 64 over 128 is 1 over 2. That is how to reduce fraction to their simplest form. Thank you.